morning, everyone. I'm saying good morning because it is 11 o'clock or something like this, and we're filming our new video game review for a wonderful game called Fallout 4, which we got last week. And of course I'm kidding, because we're not going to do video games in this video, because if you were actually expecting us to do a video game review, you're in the wrong study. What we're going to do, however, today is benefit from the wonderful presence in our vlog of Bram Akkermans, who you probably know because he is the coordinator of the program that you're taking. And, you know, I was having a very casual conversation with Bram, and I told him about our assignment with the micropig. And he got so excited, and he had so many ideas about how to create solutions for the prenup that you had to draft. So we're going to interview him about that and see what exactly he had in mind. So we have this prenup. You know about it because, you know, I really told you way too many details about it, actually.
Oh no, it's excellent. It's a fantastic exercise, really.
Cool. So let's take it like this. So you have a pet. By the way, did you ever have pets so far?
No, sorry.
No.
I have kids.
So... Alright. Okay, great. So better than pets. You know, get a child.
Well, we'll get to
that. Okay, that would actually make it easier from a family perspective.
Very much so.
Good, but so if you have, let's say you have a micropig that you really love, and I have to say that I have seen someone in the parks here in Maastricht walking around with a micropig, so they're real, they're amongst us. We actually tried to get a micropig for today, but we couldn't really get one from anywhere. So whatever. But okay, so you have a pig, you have a pet, right? And you have a pet together with your spouse or together with your future spouse, and you want to make a prenup to ensure that you will still have access to this wonderful pet even if things go south with your partner. How do you do that? Okay,
so you want to make some legal arrangements. That's the question, I think, because factually and personally you can, I guess, solve or try to solve as much as you want, but the question is to make legal arrangements for the pig. And then the question is what's allowed and what's not, basically.
Precisely.
I guess. Okay.
Precisely.
So, like in many things, the lawyer's task is to ask the right question. And to ask the right question, you need to know what you're talking about. And so we're talking about prenups or prenuptial agreements, which are contracts, special contracts, that you make upon marriage. But so in order to understand what the effect of a prenup is and what you can and what you cannot do with a prenup, you have to look at marriage law before you can actually do that, because otherwise you can't know what you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
And then marriage, not so much the family law aspects of it, so how do you conclude a marriage, who can conclude a marriage, etc., that's all important, but the property aspect, and that's called matrimonial property law. And matrimonial property law means what happens to everything you have and what happens to everything I have in case you and I would get married. And there are three options. Option number one, Dutch law. Everything that you ever had and everything that you will ever have will become co-owned. So you have what we call a total community of assets. That's option number one. Option number two, you have what we call a limited community of assets. So you say everything that's mine and I bring into the marriage stays mine. Everything that's yours and you bring into the marriage stays yours. But everything we buy together after that becomes co-owned and becomes a community. And then option number three is everything that's mine is mine and stays mine. Everything that's yours is yours and stays yours. Those are basically the three models, and it depends a little bit from country to country, you know, what system you adhere to. This is important because this, with the prenup, you can deviate from. So like other areas of the law, like succession law, you can deviate from these rules by contract. And if you do this within the limits of the law, the contract will have what we call third-party effect. So it can actually work against third persons. In case you die, or in case you divorce and get married to someone else, then the prenups, you know, all the property aspects of the prenup are gonna remain. So this is where the pig, sorry for the bad drawing by the way, but you know, I have other talents apparently.
It's good.
This is where the prenup comes in, and this is where the pig comes in. So you need to assess, is the pig there before marriage or is the pig there after marriage? Because if it was before marriage, you have to define, so who owned the pig? Did you buy it together, or did one of the parties buy it? And what happened to the ownership of the pig? I'm raising my hands to make quotation marks because that depends. But what happened to the ownership, to the property rights on the pig upon marriage? That's important because in some countries you cannot own animals anymore. in the Netherlands, we have this famous animal party in the Dutch parliament, and they made an amendment to the civil code a couple of years ago that in Dutch law you can no longer own a pig.
So what is a pig then?
Well,
in Dutch law?
that is a very good question, Catalina. I mean, it's still an animal and it's still subject to, let's say, entitlement, but it's no longer a thing, an object in the sense of Book 3 of the Dutch Civil Code, meaning that you cannot say I own an animal. And the idea is that helps us to treat animals with more respect, etc. It's an important deviation, but we don't really know the answer to the question, what then is it? Except that it's still yours, or it's still mine, or it's still owned by both of us, and therefore it falls within our, what we call, patrimony.
Yeah, I do remember a couple of words from property law. Not more than that, but still.
Well, patrimony is just a fancy word for everything you have, and every debt that you have.
Yeah.
So, the pig, I mean, it depends. So, because it's not a person, you cannot use any of the family law rules that say visitation rights. It also means you can't claim alimony to take care of it from the other party, by the way. So you need to make some, arrangements, and I think there are 3 ways, I think, to do it. There are loads of creative ways to do it. Option number 1, uses a limited property right. I know from you, Catalina, that some students actually make use of this, and someone proposed to make use of a right of usufruct. Out of this, a right of usufruct, by the way, is the property right to use something that's not yours as if you were the owner. So you can use and enjoy it. That's a brilliant idea. I don't think it's going to work, but it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, we graded that appropriately because we thought it was really.
No, it's very creative. It's very creative. The problem of a usufruct is that there are 2 things. One is that you create the right of usufruct for the duration of the life of the person you give the right to. So let's say we agree upon a divorce. Say you and I were married, and we agree in the prenup that upon divorce, that you will have a right of usufruct on the pig. That means that the exclusive possession, so the right to use the pig and enjoy it, is going to be with you, and no longer is going to be with me. So that it makes it less, good to use. Plus, you will have it for the duration of your life. That could be a trade-off. You could say, then you will have it for the duration of your life, but I will have the right of ownership that remains. And the right of ownership that remains in usufruct we call bare ownership. So it's stripped down of all of its use and enjoyment. It's the only thing that's left is when you stop having the right of usufruct, I will be full owner again. And we could do that and say, if the marriage ends, you will have the usufruct, I will have the bare ownership, and then when you die, either I get the ownership of the pig back or the entitlement to the pig back, and if I have died before that, then of course my heirs will get the entitlement or the ownership to the pig. But it's not really sharing. I think the aim of to figure it out, if you lovingly enter into a marriage and you make this into your prenup, is not to say you're going to have everything, or at least you're going to have the pig and I will have nothing. It's more the idea is that you think about sharing. So property law has an answer to that. I think that's option number 2. The answer that property law can provide for that is co-ownership.
Co-ownership, okay.
So we use this in property law all the time. The best example is in the law of neighbors. If you watch these television programs of neighbors fighting with each other, it's always about the common wall. It's the wall that separates your garden from your neighbor's garden. You both own that. And by contract, you can set the agreement basically on the basis of which you're going to use that ownership. So co-ownership means it falls in your patrimony, it falls in my patrimony, 50-50, and if that's the agreement. If you don't agree anything else, that is going to be the situation. But by contract, of course, you can then agree on basically everything that you want. You can say, because I am co-owner, I am entitled to half of the quality time with the pig, and you are entitled to the other quality time of the pig. So you then create a kind of what in English law, sometimes in American law is called a timeshare. I know that sounds a little weird because you do that normally for apartments, but with an animal, theoretically, you could do the same. And you say, half of the week the pig is going to be with you, half of the week is going to be with me, or you'll have it during the week, I'll have it during the weekends, or alternate weekends, or something like you can knock yourself out going crazy. And option number 3 is that you don't use any property law at all, and you just try to arrange it by contract. But that creates, I think it's a more limited option, because someone needs to be entitled to the pig. By the way, the person that's entitled to the pig also needs to take care of it, also needs to insure it and make sure that it
Pay all
doesn't.
the costs.
Yes,
so
and
also
that-
the responsibility.
Yes, exactly. Also, so if the pig attacks someone and bites a little kid that wants to pet it, then you're also liable.
Okay, I just visualized that. It's,
Yeah, well,
it's not pretty. Okay.
No. I think those are, generally speaking, those
yeah.
are the options. And I know from what I've seen and from what I've heard, you guys have been extremely creative. So well done, well done.
Oh, hell yes. Yes, perfect. Thank you so much for
Pleasure.
this amazing summary of the solutions that you can use to actually get a pig into your prenup. Maybe some of you wonder, why exactly we came up with this assignment, and I know probably not a lot of you are going to end up having a micro pig, but it puts things into perspective, and we definitely wanted to take you outside of your comfort zone. And we were really just, we were hesitating. We were in the planning group thinking about what kind of animal to use for this prenup. And we found this amazing, an alpaca with an Instagram account, which is called Chewbacca. So you can search for Chewbacca.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's, take a break from studying. It's gonna really make your day. But thank you so much, Bram,
my
for
pleasure.
being featured in this video, and hope to see you again very soon.
Very much like so too. All right.
Thank you.